So Siemens Gamesa has been in the country since the beginning of the renewable energy program. We have invested a lot in our team, which means that we are 100% localized. I'm the only foreigner in our team, but the rest is fully South African. Furthermore, we have invested in further development of subcontractors. We are procuring towers from South African market, as well cables, tower internals and other components. So that's an investment in the long-term development of South Africa, but obviously also already focusing at executing projects with the maximum local content. So the jobs which are generated through the renewable energy industry, and specifically wind, are on the one side in the development area, which can be skilled labor, but also unskilled labor. Of course, a lot of engineering works involved, but on the other side, you have to finance the deal, so it's a lot of commercial jobs as well. From our point of view, or from Siemens Gamesa perspective, the most jobs are generated in the service area. So we have a lot of skilled technicians. We are finding a lot of very good high potentials in South Africa for these jobs. So therefore, also our high success rate in localizing those services. So when you look at the mega trends in the world, one mega trend is renewable energy. And renewable energies is not only about saving the environment, but it's now also the least cost scenario for production of energy. So if you want to be working in a field which is future-proof, then renewable energies is definitely the right area. What I would like to see is that more African countries are evolving, like South Africa, for instance, has done, easing or liberalizing the development of projects, connecting those projects to the grid, or also easing the burden of approvals, for instance, or licensing for off-grid renewable energy solutions. So the African continent has a unique opportunity because renewable energies, specifically wind turbines, have come very far in the development, especially pushing down the levelized cost of electricity. So South Africa can look at developing the industry, not from scratch, obviously. In some parts it's already moving, and some other parts it's not, but to build up a grid to energize the countries with a renewable net zero emission energy industry. So that's a unique opportunity. Also, the requirement of decentralized energy solutions is a perfect fit with renewable energies. So that's something unique also. But what is important in order to increase also the community acceptance of wind turbines or PV plants close to their area, to take them on board. So that's really important in Africa to make the communities part of the project development and of the execution and so on. Microsystems or microgrids for wind turbines make only sense looking at a slightly bigger scale. So off-grid solutions are definitely something which is financially feasible and technically feasible. The very small microgrid market, comparing for instance to rooftop solar, is not for us with the big commercial wind turbines, because we always go megawatt scale. But there are smaller wind turbine solutions which can be combined with other solutions. So the African countries we are seeing as Siemens Gamesa being very successful are Morocco, Egypt and South Africa. what we need and the industry need is a stable environment to develop and finance renewable energy deals. And also what we see is the more liberal you are in terms of permitting, in terms of requirements, government requirements and installation timeline, the more realistic it is to get low-cost renewable energy solutions onto the ground. The policies, and let's take South Africa as an example. The policies are good. There are certain criteria which are distorting us from time to time. For instance, now the designated local content which came up recently. This requires time for us to prepare. The industry would like to have some more flexibility. Not that we are against local content, but we need to retain the flexibility required for us to identify the right solutions and not to be dictated what solutions needs to be taken. Also, we need certain flexibility in terms of executing projects, meaning that, for instance, now in South Africa we are having an auction with 1.6 gigawatt. If we are required to install them all in parallel, we have to get installation teams from overseas instead of only utilizing the local teams. If we are pushing that out to maybe a year or 2 years of construction period, we can much more utilize local resources. So that would be something even generating more value to the African countries. If you allow time, consult with the industry, and then implement a concept which is realistic and value adding to the countries. Africa has a huge amount of land which is perfect for wind power as well as PV. And the future is bright of Africa. The demand is there, and the area for developing those projects is there. Also where you're not interfering with any villages or cities or people in general, because you have a lot of free area which has very high wind resources. So where we are currently for instance, in South Africa, is already a huge portfolio of developed projects. So we are talking about 4.8 gigawatt, which will be auctioned during the next couple of years. At the auction which we just had, the REAP Round 5, we already had 5 gigawatt of bid projects. So you can see that there is enough developed projects available in the market to immediately serve the demand. So it's very well developed. Also what we see in other African countries is that there's great interest and also great resources. So the development is progressing well. So it just needs a bit of structure and policy and government support to also roll out the success of South Africa or Morocco or Egypt into other African countries. The South African industry is ready to serve 4.8 gigawatt of wind power capacity in the next 3 years. We do need a bit of flexibility in terms of executing the projects in order to utilize local capacities, for instance, towers, construction personnel, or delivery to site, so installation and transportation services. So that's key that we retain a bit of flexibility on that side. Besides that, there is capacity available internationally to serve the demand. Obviously, it will take a lot of effort in terms of financing. For instance, the project development part is already done, and yeah, it's possible, definitely. Just if the rules are a bit more liberalized, it will give a bit more flexibility to the project developers, the IPPs, and the OEMs to deliver on time, on budget, and the quality required.
So I think you might have answered quite a few of, you might have answered
The start is done here with the Windaba. we see that despite the challenges we are facing due to the pandemic, there's a high interest. But the contractors, the OEMs and the IPPs, they are here talking. The banks are available and ready to support the rollout of those 4.8 gigawatt. But obviously also we have to invest in further resources, in further production capacity in the country. So this is what we are focusing at the moment, together with our subcontractors and partners, to really prepare for executing this large volume. We have been waiting for some time until we are able again to bid for projects. And our construction teams, they're local. And obviously also those guys are very eager to get to work again. So, and then furthermore, what we have seen over the last decade in South Africa is that there's so much potential, and the demand is also there. There are great skills available in the country, and now we have geared up in order to be able to execute, and now of course we also want to deliver.